53% of the restaurants had to halt its operations in the last few months. In-store sales dropped by 80%, and F&B groups claim that they're losing 1 billion dirhams a month. Although the lockdown and restrictions have now been lifted, but will the UAE's F&B market go back to its vibrant self with customers having more than twice as many options just in Dubai to choose from as compared to New York? Or is this it for the region's restaurant businesses? Welcome to another episode of ABTV's Power Panel on the region's F&B sector, brought to you by the Hubb, an intelligent e-commerce platform. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Alexis, I'm going to start with you right now. So I know JLL has recently launched a report. Can you tell us about the key findings of it?
The biggest finding is, as you can imagine, the sales drop, especially in-store sales. So we saw the in-store sales really follow the lockdown measures as it's expected. And in the Middle East, we found a 20% loss in sales in February, about 55% in March, and a lower 80% in April. What's interesting is that even though we have less data from Asia, but still have a few data points, we see that they see a less increase in April than they did in March, which showcases how they're already coming back into kind of picking back up a little bit. It's far from normal, of course, but it's coming back up. In terms of deliveries, although a lot of people would expect that delivery sales have gone up, in the Middle East, they haven't. The only market we see deliveries going up is in Europe, where they've been up 14% in February, 3% in March, and 6% in April. Whereas in the Middle East, we saw a decline of 8% in February, 21% in March, and 24%.
Basically working from home, so they've actually started cooking in all of these social media trends that we're seeing. Is that the main reason why?
So that's a very interesting question, and that's what we try to understand why Europe had gone up whereas Middle East had gone down. And a lot of it is because of the office population. So deliveries are a lot more relevant during a working hour in the Middle East. So, in a lot of our pantries, we see that there's a lot of deliveries for lunch for office hours and office buildings. Whereas in Europe, a lot of people would dine in a restaurant.
Right. Naeem, I'm just going to come to you now. Again, Gates Hospitality, you offer a lot of services, you're catering to so many brands at this point. But then just before, of course, the JLL report was released, you did say that 50% of the restaurants are not going to operate post-pandemic. On what basis did you say that? And what are the major restaurants and what are the types of restaurants that are going to be affected by this pandemic?
Interesting question, Shruti, and I think, look, my 50% has always been based on the market, overcrowded market that we've been operating for in the last couple of years, not forgetting the demographic shift that we have witnessed also prior to the pandemic. So there's been a couple of main triggers, is the oversaturated market, as well as a shift in demographics that have really prompted that comment that I've made. And being in the industry myself, playing in the field, we're not watching it from an office. We're heavily involved. We are investors, we are operators, we are consultants. So we come across all businesses. So to answer your question, which business is this going to impact? I don't think any particular segment as such. I think everybody will be impacted. It really depends on your business model, depends on your capital investment, depends on how well astute of an operator you are. And last but not least, how committed you are from a branding, from authenticity and relevance to the marketplace and value, of course.
Right, you did mention that oversaturation is one of the reasons, but then the market has been oversaturated for so many years now, even before the pandemic. So at that time, you obviously didn't see this sharp valley of sorts. Why do you think it's going to happen now?
Yeah, look, what we have witnessed in the past was that whilst there are many closures, which as an industry we didn't really talk too much about, there was a lot of new openings. But I think what will happen now is we will not see as many openings. I think people are now more burnt. There's less liquidity in the marketplace. and people are cautious onto venturing into a new business. So whilst we will see few new openings and few takeovers, and I'll do some of those myself, I don't think we'll see the same spike in the industry as we had witnessed previously.
Oh, very interesting. Tom, I'm just going to come to you now. So, of course, Buluru, you're a well-established brand and very popular, I would say. But now just talking to you, you've told me that you're launching a lot of new brands, and I'm really surprised to hear that, to be honest. How exactly are you generating your revenues at this point then?
Yeah, obviously there was a massive hit to our dine-in business. I actually saw more than 80%. I'm not sure where the number of 80% came from, but that, it was pretty much down to nothing for quite a while there. We've managed to open all of our restaurants except for two of them, one of which is Brunswick in the Sheraton and Mall of the Emirates. That's because the hotel is closed. And we've also not opened our DIFC Common Grounds branch. That's because of the fact that there's just no one working in the DIFC right now, and the footfall is so low. I don't share the same as name. I don't think it'll be 50% of restaurants that'll be affected. I think that it'll be a little bit less than that. I think it's all about time. If this thing lasts another 6 months, then yeah, I think that it might be 50%. But if it lasts for another couple of months, which I think that it will, I'm fairly optimistic that we should hopefully, see some fairly good numbers back by September. Then I think that most restaurants will get through this with smart cash flow management and that type of thing. And
right, so you've said that you're obviously pushing more of the online sales and you are relying on it right now. Can I ask you this then? Obviously the demand for online products are higher. Are your prices also going to increase?
Well, no, that was the interesting thing I was listening to you about, Alexis, about the drop in online sales. I would be interested to know what the average spend positioning is, and if that's actually increased, because a lot of businesses are going to doing packs and boxes and these types of things, that DIY kits and stuff like that. So I would be pretty sure that the average spend would have increased for home deliveries, even though the actual amount of sales have dropped. But I also think that if we can, the market's changed so much. Let's not underestimate that. Spending power is definitely way down. There is definitely going to be a readjustment of pricing over the next couple of months. I think in the Dubai F&B scene, that will come in the license segment. I think first and foremost, with all the discounts and crazy prices that were being charged for booze and things like this. But yeah, I generally don't think that pricing is going to increase. I think it'll be quite the opposite. I think you've got to do whatever you can to get customers in, and that can only come through really high value, high quality products that are priced in the right way.
For sure, I think pricing is very important. So in your report, you did mention a range of things. Again, aggregators is one of the things you mentioned, landlords, and rent is another thing you've mentioned. But what would you say is the biggest challenge that the F&B sector is facing at this point?
Well, everybody's facing a major challenge at the moment, and we're all adapting, as Tom and Naeem said. We need, the industry needs to adapt fairly quickly to the new norm. And to Tom's point, yes, delivery quantities have gone down, but I would agree with you, although we didn't ask the question, that the average spend is probably higher than it used to be because it's a bigger occasion. Now, in terms of the biggest challenges, for in-store operations, we have two very good restaurant operators here, which probably have more intelligence on the matter than I do, but the rent and labor costs are the biggest hurdles at this point, right? Rent has been mediated as much as possible, but labor costs can be mediated to some extent, but there's still a minimum amount of staff that's required, and there's a minimum amount of staff that needs to be there in order to keep quality up there. So creating new revenue streams is definitely the way to go.
Right, Alexis, you did mention earlier that 14% of the restaurants, if I'm not wrong, have introduced delivery systems. So are you talking about their own delivery systems where they're independent of the food aggregators?
No, they have introduced delivery as part of their services. So these 14% didn't used to offer delivery before COVID-19, and they have introduced. So some good examples, and that was a lot of that 14% I'm expecting is in the finer dining kind of establishments. So we've seen a lot of finer dining establishments that have introduced deliveries because due to lockdown completely shut down in-store sales. So unless they had delivery sales, the sales were at zero, which is to Thomas' point that in April we received responses of an expectation of 80%, but if you don't have delivery sales, it's almost 100%, especially when you lock down for the entire month.
But do you think that's actually going to happen? Are people going to start dining in as they used to in the pre-pandemic era?
Again, I don't think we should be comparing anything to the past. I think as a global world, we'll keep on evolving. The next norm, as I'm calling it, will be different. But again, we need to be nimble. We need to be agile in order to make sure we're there first. We listen to what the market's talking about. We address the vacuum and we provide solutions, be it 2 meters away, be it no sharing. We just need to be fast, ahead of the game, and provide solutions. As humans, we're social beasts. That's not going to change. It's going to take time, but it's not going to change.
How is it that you are managing to keep in touch with your customers and making sure that they know you're still there, you're still relevantly there in the operation?
Yeah, as I said, it's heavy reliance on new product. I don't think people can continue to. People will definitely come to our restaurants. Like we opened at 30% capacity in Tom and Sir to some of us, Common Grounds Mall, the Emirates, and Common Grounds Al Mas Tower about 2 weeks ago, and we saw. Basically, a couple of days before that, we sort of had a rumbling that it was going to happen. I rebudgeted, and I've been fairly accurate with those budgets. It's nowhere near what we thought it was going to be, but it's definitely helping. And we're going to continue doing as much great service with good systems of cleanliness and hygiene, and a focus on a high quality service and food within those venues. But then externally, outside of those venues, online on the cloud, we have to continue to find ways to get noticed and to get seen. And as I said, it's coming through smart, strategic graphic design and digital marketing. And as I said, that's got to be backed up with amazing new products.